All of a sudden his head kind of turns and he goes, "Hey, are you looking for work?" But I was now on the inside. I was inside the hidden job market. I didn't know this. I didn't know what the term was at the time. So he asked me if I'd be interested in applying. What he really meant was, "Do you want the job?" And basically they had me fill out an application, but it was a formality because he had already picked me. And that will often happen that way when you're on the inside in the hidden job market. So today I'm going to tell you a story about a time when I was in my 20s and I landed a job at the Sport Fishing Institute. I was living in the Maryland area. Washington, D.C. is where the job was. And I landed this job using my network. I didn't know it at the time. Um, and I didn't even apply for the job. And I got the job on the first meeting. So part of the reason why I'm sharing this story is because most of the people I coach and help are in their 20s, some people in their 30s, sometimes an occasional really ready teenager. But you're going after your first job or your first job out of college, maybe. You could still be in college, or maybe you don't even go to college, doesn't matter. Um, but it's sort of, a time in your life when you're starting your first career. And so this is a time when I got referred. I didn't know this. See, I learned this from my father. He was always saying, like, go talk to people. I didn't know what he meant. And this was him. He had referred me to someone that he knew. And you might be thinking, well, your dad got you the job. This isn't that. And so he said to me, I think I'd been working a job. I think I was working for the sport. No, I was working for a fish and game. I was a fisheries biology. That was my interest. I wanted to get into fisheries biology, and my major in college didn't have a fisheries biology major. They had a natural resources management major, which is sort of like vague and general, but close enough. My people were there. I went to a huge school with a tiny little department in the school. It's great. So back to the job. So my dad says, you should go would you be open to talk to my friend at the Sport Fishing Institute? And I was like, what's that? And he said, oh, my friend Gil Radonsky, he's the president there. I haven't talked to him in years. And back then, I wasn't very good at receiving my dad's advice. It's that age where I'm like ready to do everything myself. Like, thanks, you've been telling me what to do my whole life. I'm ready to make my own decisions. Kind of like resistance. So he says, yeah, give him a call if you want. You could go meet him. Go meet him. And for some reason, this time I did. So I called. And he said, sure, come on in. I'd love to talk to you. And I had no plan. I wasn't prepared. Now, my clients, I teach them how to prepare for things like this and how to cause this to happen on purpose. Like, this is a networking strategy that I have weaponized now and structured as a really effective strategy to help you access the hidden job market. These are jobs that they get filled before ever even getting posted. And that's the story I'm telling you about today. This job that I landed at the Sport Fishing Institute. I had no idea what they did. So I go in for this meeting. I hadn't researched the company at all. All I know is I'm going to meet somebody that my dad knows or knew, and sounded pretty cool to me because I love fishing. That's how I got into the field of fisheries biology and aquaculture and things like that. Those are some of the jobs I'd had. And so I went in to meet him. I knew nothing about the organization. I wasn't prepared in any way to ask him any questions or what he might ask me. I just went in like open slate, blank, no expectations. And so he led the conversation. He was very generous, and he said, hi, kind of general, like, oh yeah, your father mentioned that you're interested and you're doing fisheries biology type of work. And he sort of led the conversation like adults can do, for when we're nervous. And I was really nervous. And I'm in his office. I know he's the CEO. And this is a small office, like 10 people in the whole company. And before long, he's asked me about the work that I had done or what I studied in school, or we're just getting to know each other. And all of a sudden, his head kind of turns and he goes, "Hey, are you looking for work?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I'm open. Like, right now I'm working for the state fishing game, and I think I don't want to do that for much longer." And he goes, "Would you be interested in an internship?" And I think I probably said, "An internship? What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, we have a paid internship here, and it goes for a year. And at the time, it was $19,000, which was a lot for me back then. I'm 58 now. That was back in my 20s, so probably at least double that. So for me back then, that was a big deal." And he said, "So we have a paid internship, and the person who's in the internship is wrapping up, and we were getting ready to post the job. In other words, so that a bunch of strangers could come in and apply, like applying for jobs online." But I was now on the inside. I was inside the hidden job market. I didn't know this. I didn't know what the term was at the time. So here he is. He met this guy, Warren, who seems good enough for the job, who has the right interest, the right background. I came through the filter of someone he knew, my dad. And so he asked me if I'd be interested in applying. What he really meant was, "Do you want the job?" And so I asked him a few questions about it, and he went out and introduced me to the person in their office who handled the internship. And basically, they had me fill out an application, but it was a formality because he had already picked me. And that will often happen that way when you're on the inside in the hidden job market. When you arrive at an opportunity that hasn't been posted as a job yet, or sometimes they have it posted as a job, or maybe even the job is closed, like the opening period for applications is closed, and you're coming in through the hidden job market through referrals, and oh, it just closed. I've had it happen where they've opened it back up to allow me to apply even though it had closed, because I was trusted. I came through a trusted contact source, and I was good enough, right? And actually got the job. So here I am at the Sportfish Institute. He's offered me a position. He didn't offer me the position. He said, "Would you be interested in applying?" And I said, "Yeah." And I went out and talked to the person. They told me more about the job. And I said, "Wow, that sounds really cool." I don't even think I had a resume with me. Um, and so I probably went home and emailed them the resume or something, and I got the job. I didn't have a second interview or anything. So when he asked me if I'd be interested in internship, that was really him offering me the job. But I didn't know it at the time. And I got the job. I didn't have to go through rounds of interviews. It was simply an introduction and a conversation. And that's way better, way, way better than me going to a bunch of posted positions on the internet, applying as a stranger to another stranger, right? Applying to jobs online. It doesn't have all the benefits of all these connections. So if you have been applying for jobs online, and most people have applied to a lot of them when you're using that strategy, if you've been relying only on that strategy and you're tired of putting yourself into a piece of paper, submitting it into the void, tweaking your resume for each application, or applying to hundreds of positions only to get rejected, or worse, ghosted. If you're tired of that, relying on only that strategy, by the way, don't do that. Don't rely on that strategy alone. I made a quiz for you guys. It's an assessment for your job search strategy. And you can take it by going to go.usefulandhired.com/quiz. And it's a quiz, and it helps you look at your current job hunting strategy, what you need to add, what's missing, how it's working for you. Basically, are you ready? Are you using all the resources that are available to you, and are you aware of these other strategies? It's all covered in the quiz. And then when you're done taking the quiz, It gives you all the results. It scores your answers, gives you a score like on a percentage, like 100% would be amazing, 10% would be terrible, right? And don't worry if you have a low score. That's pretty common actually. Um, and then on the results page, when you get your results, there's a little video there where you'll see my face, and it says if you want, you could get on the phone with me, and we could go over your results together and come up with a custom plan just for you to figure out how to do a better job. So if that's interesting to you, head on over to go.usefullandhired.com/quiz. See you guys in the next video.